What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shepherd channel, coming to you with another edition. Hopefully these links, likes, and locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. New desk. Still hitting my elbow on stuff. I get up, I bang my knee. It's not fun. It's kind of like betting on the Oakland Athletics. It's not very fun. I knew nothing was going to go well. And of course, then my guy, Yordan Alvarez, rightfully hits a bomb here. And then it follows up by a Bregman bomb. And it's only half a unit, but it's still one of those, like, sometimes math sucks, right? I don't know. They won the last two, so it's not like they were incapable. And this was their best pitching matchup head-to-head. I mean, no Verlander, no Valdez. Hunter Brown is good. And everybody's posting, oh, he was good against the Athletics. I don't care. Over the course of this season, it's literally what the number is for this situation for today. But alas, enough talking about it. Of course, Houston should have been favored in that game. I'm not saying that. They were massively favored. Just that I don't agree with them being minus 300 to close. Anywho, Caesar Sportsbook, I agree with you checking them out at the link below. You get yourself you get yourself $250 when you bet $50. That's how that works. You're going to get five $50 bonus bets into your account instantly when you sign up over there. So maybe sign up over there because we've got NFL. We've got my Minnesota Vikings taking on the... You know what? I got to change this green before we get to the next segment because I'm not going to deal with any Eagles green behind me as we finish this out. We're going to go to a neutral Caesar Sportsbook color, and we're going to have purple and gold for the rest of this program. You hear me, Producer Jacob? That's what I want. I also want you guys checking out Caesar Sportsbook because I want you signed up at every sportsbook. Take advantage of these offers while you can, friends. They're not going to be here for long. I believe on September 19th, ironically enough, my birthday. I think that's the day they are pulling the offer on Tuesday. So take advantage before next Monday. It's only if you're 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all. We've got 9 games on this Thursday. We've also got football. Do you want my football takes? You can jump in the premium Discord. I will also have a Lindy's Locks update that I will on the tail end. I'll front load it with MLB just for you, because I love you. But then on the back end, I'm going to have NFL takes just for you. I've got one play that I fired up. Also going to have an article written. I've got a lot of stuff going at Odd Chopper. Doing matchup show over at Stochastic tomorrow morning. 2 hours breaking down every single NFL game from a DFS perspective. Come join the ride over there. Going to be a fun time. But either way, let's talk a little baseball here right now. Producer Jacob, let's change the background and let's get to the picks. Skull, we're going to lose by 100 on Thursday. It's fine. We got Thursday baseball, though. Washington and Pittsburgh. Oh, God. Don't be a Viking fan. Actually, don't be a fan of the Nationals or the Pirates either. They're not good. We have Josiah Gray going up against comeback Keller, Mitch Keller, on the mound here. And I don't have a whole lot of interest in this entire series. It's a really hard one to handicap, if you ask me. You saw Pittsburgh just put up infinity runs here in the early going. Washington comes back, puts up 5. It's 7-5, top of the 7th. Guys are playing for their jobs. It's a little bit more difficult to project because guys will get pinch hit for randomly. As veterans won't pitch as far. Guys that you're trying to put bubble wrap on just won't get extended as far. And I think that's kind of my issue here is I think you're probably going to get Mitch Keller taken off the mound sooner rather than later. He's gone to like mid-90s his last however many outings in a row. He had 108 back at the end of July. Since then, hasn't exceeded the 100 pitch mark, and I would very, very highly doubt he exceeds the 95 pitch mark here in this spot. So would be more inclined to back him here against a Washington team that, well, they don't strike out against righties. 19% K rate, talked about that a bajillion times, but 89 WRC plus, not exactly the most difficult matchup, if you ask me. Josiah Gray on the other side, he made the All-Star game. I don't know how he made the All-Star game other than these stupid rules that still exist because we live in an archaic, not democracy here with the old baseball needing an All-Star from every team. They somehow landed on Josiah Gray, so that's cool for him. However, he had one of the greatest interviews I've probably ever. He was fantastic talking at the Little League World Series on that Sunday night game. It was probably the highlight of that Sunday night game because it otherwise sucked. Jake Cave hit a home run. I remember that too. Former Twin. But Josiah Gray, 346 xWOBA, 19.5% K rate, 12% walk rate. Oh boy, oh boy. kind of threading a needle trying to back him at this point in time. So plus 145, totally understandable how they land on that number, considering Brian Reynolds, confirmed good at baseball, hit a lot of home runs on Wednesday. You got Mr. Jack Sawinski, who we've been betting from an outright perspective on this card. Actually, we are only up 2 units now on him from the home run props days of yore, and most of that was at the beginning of the season. Kind of been just throwing money at him randomly here against bad righties. This would make sense as a spot with a 16.4 degree average launch angle for Josiah Gray. But besides a number that shows up that's somewhat intriguing for him or Reynolds, I have zero interest in this baseball game, nor should you. Also, my camera, I should probably not be on this side of the screen, Eric. Way to go. Doesn't even look that purple. Producer Jacob, I think we might have to... No, we're not going to do it again. I'm not going to make you. It looks pink. It's probably going to be how our defense plays. Although, pink is a beautiful color. And if you like pink, awesome. I don't like this baseball game, so don't bet it. Under 8.5, just a lean. Please, God, Vikings win on Thursday. Not going to happen. I'm going to run it back. Skull! Let's fucking go! Caesar's logo on flag. I mean, 90s. This is like Saved by the Bell. Standing at the edge of tomorrow. Those are the college years, for those who really know. Just say, today. Well, today, here on Thursday, you also have the Reds and the Detroit Tigers playing baseball. Do you care? I don't care either. We do have Reese Olson on the mound, who I think has some of the more interesting numbers in all of baseball this season. 23.7% K rate for the young guy, 7% walk rate, but. In 11% barrel percentage, which might lead you to think, interesting. But he carries a 1.15 whip. 1.15 whip, 4.50 ERA. You would think, that's got to come down, right? 4.85 expected ERA. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. It must be this electric fire shirt behind me. Boogie. Let's go, friends. Reese Olson, what are you doing, dude? These numbers do not make sense to me. I like some of what we're seeing from him. The fastball velo sitting around 95. That's above average. You're looking at the off-speed run value, very low there on Baseball Savant as well. So there's a number of pieces that make sense for Reese Olson being a prospect to keep your eye on. Matt Manning didn't really work out, even though I thought he might. Eduardo Rodriguez found it in the Detroit uniform this season, even though he didn't want to play for a good team at the deadline. The most interesting thing that's happened on this segment is definitely the shirt behind me. I don't know what else to tell you. From a Cincinnati perspective, Ben Lively could be pitching, but he has COVID. He's not off of the COVID list here yet. It's supposed to just be a week that you're out. He's been out now since the 26th of August. It's been a minute. So we'll see if he gets activated here. I think he's in line for it. Otherwise, they're going to have to call somebody up from AAA. They haven't called anybody up from AAA as of recording this here on Thursday night. So I don't know what to tell you other than that shirt is fire, and I need it. I need it now. I don't need anything from this baseball game either. Just pass, wait for Thursday night football, wait for some good plays. We have some good plays coming down the pipeline on this 9-gamer. But until then, Detroit money line, just a lean, zero interest this time around. But hey, thanks to Spencer Torkelson for hitting a home run today. Thanks, bud. The Fishies, the Miami Fishies, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. I say Fishies mainly because now we have Dolphins. They're not really fish, but Marlins, they're fish. Right? That's how this works. Producer Jacob fact checked me. But in the meantime, we don't know who's starting for them. It's a little fishy if you ask me. Adrian Hauser on the other side, little suspect if you ask me overall over the course of his season. I think we get Yuri Perez starting here on the Miami side. He pitched on the 8th. Now it just lines up to be him here. And I think that could end up being an absolute smash for them. He's so good. 1.01 whip, so 0.05 less than Reese Olson, but you know what he carries? A 2.90 ERA does Yuri Perez, and you look at the grading of his pitches across the board. Yet another guy in Miami that just is going to pan out. He's a very exciting electric prospect, and not just because he's on my year-long team. Nobody cares about that. Not just because he's on my dynasty team. Nobody cares about that either. But Yuri Perez, just an exciting prospect because I think he's just a fun guy to watch pitch, and he is a fly ball pitcher at the same time that he carries the 29.1% K rate. So there's going to be outings where I think solo home runs, he's kind of, rip, maybe too soon, Max Scherzer. Fastball velo, 97.6 miles per hour. Awesome stuff. Whip percentage up, K rate up, extension up, everything's up. 3.73 expected ERA next to a 2.90 ERA. We are going to expect some negative regression, but again, his numbers are eerily similar to a young Max Scherzer. So just want to throw that camp. You won't see Max Scherzer until camp more than likely, but that rip. It's really sad. Texas had a baseball team this year. To have DeGrom and Scherzer to be an acquisition, that's just running really, really bad. But the Milwaukee Brewers on the other side, really, really bad. Adrian Hauser, not my favorite pitcher in all of the land. That should be pretty apparent. And you get the Miami team that doesn't strike nearly as much when you have Josh Bell added to the lineup, but you still get Jazz Chisholm, Jesus Sanchez, Jake Berger. These guys strike out at a pretty high clip. But how does Hauser do it with sub 20% K rate? 7% walk rate is pretty decent, but a 47.3% hard hit percentage. This is definitely a Miami on the road or pass situation. We should be getting something nifty if Yuri Perez is on the mound, probably inside of minus 140, minus 145, because they are on the road. But I got to at least throw this out there. The expected ERA is higher for Yuri because when you start in Miami for a majority of your baseball games, it suppresses runs. It suppresses home runs, to be more specific. So there's still some interest I have in some home run props on the Milwaukee Brewers side for an extreme fly ball pitcher out of his element, fresh out of the water, if you will. It's a fish joke. They were all fish jokes. You're fishy. Miami Marlins, if we do anything here whatsoever, but I have no idea yet. We kind of need numbers, right? That's how this works. You don't need numbers for this one, but we got them. And my God, producer Jacob, it's that time. You just simply copy, paste every 5 days, 6 days. You just copy, paste. So what happens when somebody who has the best pitch in baseball is on the mound? His name's Kadai Senga, going up against Merrill Kelly. Now, this is the first time that I feel like I've had this actual speech, because I don't know if we've backed a K-prop for somebody where their team was completely out of consideration. The Mets are toast. They're done. They're not playing for playoff baseball. They are playing for stats. They are playing for pride. They are playing to develop young players. That is what they are out there doing. And obviously, there's players who are playing for their jobs. If there is a player on the field, they're going to play 100%. I can't imagine there's a scenario where I devalue them for that. But I have to devalue them to a certain extent, because why would a team have Kadai Senga pitch 105 pitches here? Why would you do it? You wouldn't, is the answer, and that lowers the ceiling for a specific pitcher in a situation like this. Can he still mow down a million dudes and make us look really, really smart and make me happy and we can make him a lot of money? Sure. But you at least have to know that those limitations exist. So he's gone from 105 to 104 to 101 pitches his last 3 outings. I think this is where we start seeing him go below 100 unless he is on pace for something historic, unless he's like throwing 15 Ks and going completely berserk, in which case we don't give a shit because we're going to be backing him to some extent. But it's him against another one of my guys, Merrill Kelly on the Arizona side, which is the only reason that there's no play on the Mets side. This is a pretty neutral spot. 2 of my guys, 2 very talented pitchers who kind of go about doing it a little bit differently. And Merrill Kelly, the strikeouts have found ways at times to be very effective this season, and he's really bounced back after no strikeouts from last year. 26.4% K rate. That is not what I would have had him projected, or Zips and Steamer over on Fangraphs, or the Bat, or any of these great projection systems that you should be checking out and learn how to export the data for next year. Yes, we're going to do that eventually on Lindy's Locks Update over on Twitter/X. I'll probably do it at the end of this season, something that you can work on in the off season, mainly because MLB, I understand the interest in NFL. I understand that that's where a lot of my focus and attention has started to shift, mainly because as we lose baseball games, we lose opportunities to find inefficient lines. Cool, great, grand, good talk. Let's break down the pitching quick. 4.09 expected ERA, not nearly as good as the 3.16 ERA for Merrill Kelly, but still great extreme pitching run value. If that makes sense to you, awesome. If it doesn't, check out Baseball Savant. They explain a lot of great stuff. Kadai Senga on the other side, 353 expected slugging, 28.9% K rate, and also it's almost Halloween season. Ooh, the ghost fork. Ooh. That's my Halloween decoration impersonation. I think that's pretty fire. I don't even know what the fuck kind of ghost that is, but that's what they sound like, and you know it to be true. You also know that Kadai Senga is going to be on the betting card. 8Ks. I think 8K seems pretty good against an Arizona team. Sure, they don't strike out a whole hell of a lot against righties, just a 20.8% K rate, but they're starting to call up young prospects. They're starting to pack it in. You could see some pieces sitting. You could see like a Evan Longoria in against righties just for the hell of it to mix it up or give guys rest. You just never know what you're going to get. So we know we're going to back Kadai Senga on overs, especially if we can run into plus money over, especially because I project him in this spot for 9.1 strikeouts because I'm a sick person, but I'm going to be a little conservative. 8Ks. Hopefully this line shows up at 6.5 and we can jam it for a unit. That would be called a lock. But until then, lean with it. Rock with it. Friends, it's Thursday Night Football. There's also 9 beautiful, beautiful baseball games to bet on. Actually, that's a lie. You have like 5 beautiful, beautiful baseball games to bet on. There are 4 absolute dusty, terrible baseball games that you should not be attending, let alone betting. But if you want to fire up some goodies here from this program, other programs here on OddsShop, or anything your heart desires, why wouldn't you do it with the help of Caesar Sportsbook, giving you money to be able to take advantage of promos like this? You simply bet $50 at the link below. You're going to get yourself 5 $50 bets in bonus bets, baby. 5 $50 bonus bets to fire up over at Caesar Sportsbook. 1 that will hit your account immediately, and then 1 that shows up every single Monday for the next 4 weeks. Now, this promo, I saw a thing. It's not official, but I saw a little thing. They sent us something where it was like, hey guys, September 19th, that's Tuesday. The only reason I remember the date is because it's my birthday, but you don't have to send me a birthday card, and you don't even have to sign up for Caesar Sportsbook. You just have to do things that are going to make you money in the long term. But you know what? One of those things is signing up at Caesar Sportsbook or at Bet365 or at DraftKings FanDuel. But I know you probably already have those. If you don't, go to that link below. Go to the video description box below and sign up everywhere you can so you can shop for the best lines every single day. Why pay more when you can pay less? Duh. You play to win the game. Duh. We've had some weird ones today, but bet $50. Get yourself $250, 5 $50 bonus bets over at Caesars at the link below. It's great, friends. It's really great. Just probably don't bet it on the Vikings. That would be stupid. It's only for 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. 5 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. As we head to Texas taking on Toronto, and Kevin Gausman on the mound coming off of infinity strikeouts. It's pretty ridiculous stuff that we're seeing out of him. He's been the best pitcher in the AL, in my opinion. Kevin Gausman has been, so far this season, 3.28 ERA, 1.17 whip, and just flat out freaking good. 10 strikeouts against Kansas City. He's supposed to do that kind of stuff against Kansas City. Anybody think they bounce back against Jacksonville this weekend? Guess you got to play the injury game. Does Kelsey play? He was at practice today. These are the things I'm paying attention to, friends. Again, check out the matchup show Thursday morning over at Stochastic. Talk a little DFS, and I'll probably be throwing in a couple of my bets. Got 2 of them in the premium Discord already. 2. Sorry, it was blocked off by the screen thing. Anywho, we've got on the other side of this one, Nathan Eovaldi, who has been awesome in his own right. But friends, this is a tough spot, mainly because the Texas Rangers bullpen going to have to do some major work if the team is going to be competitive, because they have now lost Scherzer. They have lost DeGrom a long time ago. And now you're looking at Nathan Eovaldi still only at 47 pitches. I bet that gets extended north of the 50-55 pitch mark here in this spot, with 47 pitches since getting reactivated off the IL. He was out for a month and a half. I can't imagine that there's going to be an opportunity for Nathan Eovaldi to go beyond 65, 70 pitches. So I'm hard capping him there. You're going to have a bullpen for the Texas Rangers side that really doesn't impress me all that much until you get to these studs. Like obviously Aroldis Chapman having a resurgent season himself, coming from Kansas City over to Texas for a bag of potato chips. That was really nice of them. Actually, they just didn't want to pay him anymore. But also, why did Aroldis Chapman go to Kansas City? How did they bid out other? Well, I guess it was just like a rental to see, hey, does Aroldis have it? Oh, he has it. Awesome. Some contender, come get him. And they did. And now that contender is dust. It's just sad. But Kevin Gausman on the other side, this guy is just electric boogie, woogie, woogie, and therefore we have to be betting them and these Toronto Blue Jays. It's just such an easy spot for me, for somebody that I find to be one of the best pitchers in baseball against one of the better pitchers in baseball, but still limited. Still going to have to turn it over to that pen. I think this is a pretty easy spot to just have your half unit Toronto play, parlay piece, whatever you want to call it. I know some of you don't want to lay 155 to win 100, but I'm just fine with it. I think it's a pretty good spot here. Toronto money line behind the best pitcher in the AL. Kind of fought with myself over this one, mainly because I have no idea how Michael King just keeps doing what he's doing here as he's been converted into a starter, but it's damn impressive. He's going to be starting again for the New York Yankees. This will be grand total start number 5, but he's kind of been starting in a pretty minimal capacity in a couple of these spots. He had been an opener in some, but the last 3, he's gone 4 innings, 5 innings, 5 innings. They've started to extend him, started to see what he's capable of. Actually, it started against Washington too, but ran into a jam. Only 2 2/3 with 50 pitches there. But now, 79 pitches last time out against Milwaukee, and he was mowing dudes down. 9 strikeouts. He took that strikeout rate that he's had as a reliever, and it's just immediately converted into him as a starter, which generally doesn't happen, but he's been one of the best bullpen players for years and years and years now with these Yankees. If he could be a converted starter for them, they would be ecstatic. But a 29.2% K rate, I can't imagine that sustains. But even if he's sitting around 26, 27, they would more than take it. 287 xWOBA, but 31.6% hard hit percentage. Hey, you might as well take a guy who's pitching very, very effectively for like 1 inning for you. And if you can turn him into a guy who can go 5, 6 for you come next year, you did yourself a service over the course of these next couple weeks when you don't have anything else to play for. So shout out the Yankees for actually doing something smart, actually trying something different with somebody who's obviously got talent, obviously has the pitch mix, because you look at these individual pitches, he has no bells and whistles. It is all sinker, change. Little four-seamer action, but sinker, change. That is what Michael King has always been, what he will always be. And if that converts into a starter, my dear sweet Jesus, we might want to fire it up. But I think we can sit and wait. I think we can. I think this line might move ever so slightly towards the Yankee side. And part of that is that, Boston at home, they get a lot of public money. It just tends to be the thing, even though I'm so mad at them about Tuesday. I could just flip. I could just scream. Oh, it's fine. They left 49,842 people on base, and I just wanted to throw up. Start the game off with a leadoff home run. Don't score the rest of the way, even into extra innings. Thanks for coming. Have a nice day. Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me, gambling gods? They don't. I win, but I lost that day. Dodgers tried to recover it for me. But either way, friends, on the other side of this one for the Boston Red Sox, I think we're going to get Killian Murphy. That's a joke. Chris Murphy is his actual name. 4.64 ERA, 1.50 whip. And, he doesn't seem very good. He's a lefty who basically has been hanging out at AAA Worcester forever here. And, I don't find any of his pitches all that enticing. They sent down Kyle Bearclaw for him. So, that's what we're comparing him to. Real ones, no. Real ones, no. That's not good. Maybe I'm wrong, and this line isn't necessarily going to move our way, but in that event, I'm okay just passing here. So I wanted to at least throw another play out because there's one prop, only one home run play that I've kind of got targeted centered. If it ends up being Murphy on the mound, it's a southpaw with Giancarlo Stanton potentially at bat. He hits moonballs. He hits absolute moonballs over green monsters. Just saying, 490 expected slugging, 50% hard hit percentage, only a 12.2 degree out launch angle, but he just hits these bullet rocket moonballs against some of these lefties. I think you just got to have it in the back of your mind. So I'm kind of putting it together as a parlay, but you have to take this with a grain of salt. I'm unsure about both of these. I think we get better than plus 225 for Giancarlo Stanton. That puts it on the card. Wild to see that short of a number as my break-even number for him against a lefty. But the Yankees money line, also something that I'm going to be having in the back of my mind because Michael King, nifty stuff from him. But I don't want to bet it if it ends up being a Boston bullpen game. Just want to repeat. Boston bullpen game, bad. Murphy eating innings, good for us. To the lock we go, my friends. We've got the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Baltimore Orioles, and Kyle Bradish. He is rather bratish, taking on Aaron Savale. And Aaron Savale this season has been somebody that I've been impressed by. I've brought that up multiple times on this show, mainly because I didn't expect this. Happy to say, it's not even that I was wrong. It's just that the public perception of him hasn't necessarily been all that good because he's Aaron Savale. How could you possibly have expected something positive from him coming off of last season's results? Now, this year, only a 21.4% K rate, but that's about the only thing that he hasn't been exceeding expectations on. He's got a 3.62 expected ERA, but a 2.96 ERA. Last season, 4.92 ERA. What are we talking about here? He has a 274 WOBA this season, coming off of 313 last year. 369 expected slugging this season, coming off of 393 expected slugging last season. And yeah, the K rate, 24.1% in 2022. Saying 2023, 21.4%. Only thing that just doesn't impress me with this pitcher, but this is a Baltimore Orioles team that's locked and loaded. And you know, when righties come in here from off the road, when they get dropped right there in Baltimore, that we have been backing some lefties. And, well, Aaron Savale's been awesome against righties, but with Ryan Mountcastle hurt, you're probably looking at somebody like Ramon Urias or somebody put to the bottom half of this lineup and move up all the lefties. Have Adam Frazier in there. Jordan Westberg might have to make this lineup as a righty, but just saying, you got Aaron Savale, 154 expected ISO against lefties, and, well, he's not in the best ballpark compared to what he is in Tampa Bay when it comes to being a right-handed pitcher, because lefties still playing up for power. And you've got Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman switch hitter, Santander switch hitter, Ryan O'Hearn 221 expected slugging against right-handed pitching. And then Mullins is back healthy. Aaron Hicks is available. You got Adam Frazier there from the left side. And yeah, it just doesn't necessarily set up as good as it normally would for Aaron Savale. Also starting to negatively regress a little bit. Some of his last few outings have been shaky, and the velocity is still there, so I'm not sure what to make of it. He had 12 strikeouts against Boston. That was electric, but still had the 3 walks, 3 earned in that one. No decision. They lost 7-3 there in that spot. But looking at him for this outing specifically, coming off of 4 earned against Seattle, feels a little bit dicey for me for a guy that shouldn't be dicey considering a sub-3 ERA, 1.12 whip. And, well, Kyle Bradish is awesome, and we're just going to back him. 3.03 ERA, 1.09 whip. Across the board, good things. Across the board, I am happy. Across the board, please, Daddy, may I have some more? Kyle Bradish, we're going to lock this beautiful human being. Here we are. Producer Jacob, fire it up, Baltimore money line. Let's go. Your lock for Thursday. Not shocking that it would be Baltimore. My God. How many locks can you possibly have of a team? Answer, many, because they win a lot of them. Little bit frustrating because it's Kenta Maeda and the Minnesota Twins, my Minnesota Twins, here on a day where it's all Minnesota sports all the time. We could change this graphic back to red, but yeah, I like San Francisco. They're a fun football team. Brock Purdy, Iowa State, good stuff. Everybody taking the under of his passing yards. Everybody's not a believer. It's okay. Eyelash. Anyway, made a wish. My wish is to have Jose Urena actually be the starting pitcher here for the Chicago White Sox. Because, friends, he gets acquired by the White Sox. Why? Eating innings. That's the answer. This guy is here to limit workload of anybody that they actually care about. That is the solid truth of what it is. And it gives him an audition opportunity. And it gives the White Sox the opportunity to rest guys, not force more innings or more pitches for guys that they actually care about, that they want to put bubble wrap on. That is the reality of the situation. It happens this time of year all the time. I'm not breaking news. It's not me being harsh. It's not me being mad. It's just the reality of what is happening. And Jose Urena has been the worst starter in baseball over the course of the last 3 seasons when available. He has a 10.7% K rate this season in his limited sample there with Colorado before he got sent to the outer realm. He had a 14.3% walk rate. You have a 14.3% walk rate and a 10.7% K rate? I'm going to bet against you every freaking day of the week. But the thing is, I also have to get the number that makes sense to be able to bet against him. And Jose Urena, he's just god-awful. And there's so many numbers that I'm just imagining what the books are going to come out with. And I just want to be early to the party on it. I was kind of trying to work into what a break-even number is for it. And I literally think that I would bet this anywhere up to minus 195 here on the Twin side on the road. So, I mean, there's a chance for this to be a lock of all locks if somehow, some way the books come in with the number short of minus 150, which is definitely possible here in this spot. So if it's Urania who ends up being the announced starter here for the White Sox, like I expect it to be, it sets up to be his second start for them. I am going to unload the clip in an ungodly way. I just am. It is not even remotely fair, this fight. You have Jose Urania also, we'll talk about Marietta for a second, but Jose Urania, a 302 expected ISO against righties, a 264 expected ISO against lefties. Those are both Adam Wainwright-esque. I just want to throw it out there. And he only has a 6.9% K rate against lefties on the season. If you have Alex Kirilloff and Matt Wallner firing on all cylinders, those guys are special young talents. Alex Kirilloff, one of my favorite young players. Matt Wallner turned into one of my favorite young players out of the middle of obscurity. We were early to the home run props. Didn't bet it on Wednesday when he goes yard because he gets demoted to the 8-hole, and I'm pretty mad about that. But anyway, other than that, get ready, friends. I have this written, same scenario, and even though Baltimore didn't turn into a lock the other day, I want a lean lock here. I want this high on your priority list here, the run line, the money line, every single bet across the board. I led with the run line mainly because I do think there's a chance that the books are proactive. It's a terrible White Sox lineup. It's a team in the Twins. AL Central, probably going to be locked in more than likely sooner rather than later, and then they'll coast because there's not really much room for them to move. It'll be a wild card scenario no matter what for other teams, and they'll just lock up the Central, and they'll really have nothing else to play for. But I'm saying, this could be the spot. This could be home run props. This could be everything across the board. Get ready for it. Please, dealer, please, gambling gods, love me here in this spot. Minus 1.5 Minnesota, money line Minnesota, all things Minnesota. In baseball, not in football. Now, this is the right game to be ending on. It feels correct with the background, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah. This shirt, it could say Rockies right there, and we'd be just fine with it. But again, I want to go back in time and see people in like the early 90s rocking that with a fanny pack, walking through, chest full of hair, next to their lovely lady, like a Bond villain, Vanilla Ice style, or black girls that wear Abercrombie. No, that was later. That's like early 2000s, right? Anyway, we've got the Colorado Rockies taking on the San Francisco Giants in Coors Field. Go ahead, open a brewski and go watch some baseball at altitude. Giants still playing for things, still out there competing, out there doing things. Kyle Harrison's not out there doing things for us, I can tell you that. Whew. Half unit on that. Can tell you one thing, he will not be on the board next time. Not that I have a no bet list, but I'm very frustrated with that individual. This could be a frustrating spot too, depending on how things pan out, but I'm going to follow the numbers. I always do. And Logan Webb, the ground ball rate is great, but you're going into Coors Field here. You're minus 220. We're not going to be backing him here in this spot, mainly because the hard hit can still get you in trouble considering the dimensions of the ballpark. It plays primarily up for doubles, triples, things of that nature because of the spacious ballpark. People always talk about it from a home run perspective, which is true. It can play up for that from time to time too, depending on the weather, depending on other things. You get some cold, frigid games there from time to time with wind blowing in, not as fun, but most of the time, yeah, it's going to play up for homers as well, but way up all the time for doubles, triples, and extra base hits of that nature. So just throwing it out there for you. Logan Webb, north of a 47% hard hit percentage on the season, sitting right at 47% actually, to be exact. And then, ground ball rate's great, 61.7%. So if he can keep the ball on the ground, good for him. Probably won't get into that much trouble against this Colorado lineup, but I kind of hope he does. And I kind of hope we get a chance against another auditioning pitcher here for the long-term. Chase Anderson on the mound. He limits hard hit, but is terrible at the other stuff that generally Logan Webb, they're basically like two pieces of a puzzle, and they would, oh, look at that. They would be a great, great marriage of statistics. Weird way of saying that. But Chase Anderson, 35-year-old at this point in time, he's basically just out there trying to keep a job, keep rocking, keep rolling. I mean, it's been a weird year. He didn't start with the Rockies, got picked up by the Rockies like middle of May. He's been with them for a hot second, pitched like limited innings and lots of these spots. I think he's primarily been a weekend guy because we haven't broken him down all that much here on this program so far this season. I'm not going to work through the sheet right now here. Why would I do that? But a 355 xWOBA, 16.5% K rate. That's worrisome. That's problemsome. And you get all of these San Francisco Giants at your disposal. The Mike Yastrzemskis, Jock Peterson, a lefty up against there, Blake Sable, lots of pieces that I find to be very interested at altitude here. Specifically, the San Francisco side is very, very intriguing. They're going to be popular in DFS. They're going to be the Chalk City, Coors Field. It's not going to go undernoticed here, but 10.5. There was a 10 sitting here just before recording this, so I have a 10/10.5. But 10.5, I'm just fine with. That's going to be a like play. Pretty simple for me. Yes, 10 would be awesome. Maybe I doubt it comes down anymore from this. Just going to throw it out there. But a 10.5, standard juice, just fine with it. A play. Just finish off your day. Chase losses from the Vikings. I'm not betting the Vikings. God, definitely not betting the Vikings. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Head to the comment section below. Let me know the final score of that Vikings-Eagles game. If you guess it correctly, I'll give you a comment or a like of your comment or something interesting. I'll come up with something. Get the correct score down there. I'll surprise somebody with something. We can make that work. Nobody's watching anymore. Let's be serious. Click through, right? Whatever, go to the comment section below. You're loved. Minnesota Vikings are loved too, but not really. Like my abusive uncle. I don't have an abusive uncle, but if I did. Well, good luck to my Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Thanks for everybody for watching Caesars Sportsbook. That's a really cool graphic. I'm glad I came up with that. Kirk Cousins, can you take advantage of no James Bradbury in that secondary? Can you do something that is like putting up points rather than yardage? I would like that. No fumbles at the 5 this week with a backup center. And producer Jacob just came up with something. We're going to find something for somebody who guesses the correct score. I'm going to go be a broken dead person inside for the game that is surely going to ruin my soul in 24 hours. I'm going to be recording a little extra early tomorrow. Just want to throw that out there. So there might be 1 or 2 extra lines that might not be available there yet. Again, nobody's still listening to this, so I'm just going to stop talking. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, till Friday, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Thursday.